Royal shocker update. Princess Leonor marries Christian, never before seen ceremony moments. The grand bells of Copenhagen Cathedral had barely stopped echoing when the world realized what had just unfolded: history, love, and royalty fused into one breathtaking moment. For years, Spain and Denmark watched their young royals grow up before the cameras: Princess Leonor of Spain, graceful yet determined, and Prince Christian of Denmark, the quiet heir with the charming smile. No one expected that their paths, once merely parallel, would one day merge into one of the most moving royal unions Europe has ever seen. But here's where it gets astonishing. Not only did the ceremony break royal traditions, it revealed deeply personal, never-before-seen moments that no one expected to make it to the cameras. Moments that left the audience silent, and moments that made even the most composed royal watchers wipe away tears. Let's take you inside the royal wedding that redefined Europe's future. It began at dawn, the streets of Copenhagen awash with Spanish and Danish flags waving side by side. The palace square overflowed with people, from locals to travelers who flew across continents just to witness this moment. Everyone expected a grand event. But no one expected what came next. As the royal car carrying Princess Leonor turned onto Amalienborg Palace's courtyard, the crowd gasped. Her gown shimmered not in the typical ivory or champagne tones of royal brides, but in an ethereal silver white embroidered with subtle golden threads, a design inspired by Spain's royal heritage but handcrafted by Danish artisans. This wasn't just a dress. It was a symbol of unity, identity, and hope. Inside, the cathedral stood still. The hush was almost holy. Then came the music, not the traditional royal procession piece, but a live orchestral arrangement that blended Spanish guitar with Danish violin, a musical fusion never before heard in a royal wedding. And when Princess Leonor entered, the world truly stopped watching, it started feeling. Prince Christian's expression said it all. His eyes, visibly filled with emotion, tracked her every step as she moved down the aisle. Queen Letizia was seen clutching King Philippe's hand, a rare public display of affection that cameras caught only for a second. But that second became an image etched in royal history: Spain's queen, overcome with emotion, as her daughter prepared to begin her new chapter. And then, the words everyone had waited years to hear. "I, Leonor, take you, Christian." Her voice trembled slightly, not with fear, but with the weight of centuries of royal history, merging two powerful monarchies, two families, and two cultures into one shared destiny. Now here's the part that stunned everyone: the never-before-seen ceremony moment that the palace tried to keep private. As the vows ended, and applause filled the cathedral, Princess Leonor reached into the folds of her bouquet and revealed a small, golden pendant. It belonged to her grandmother, Queen Sophia, a keepsake passed down through generations. She pressed it into Christian's palm, a gesture that no one saw coming. The moment was intimate, deeply symbolic, and unscripted. For a brief second, cameras zoomed in on his face, his expression softened, his voice cracked slightly as he whispered something to her. Experts later revealed it was a simple phrase in Spanish: "Siempre tú, always you." That whisper became the defining soundbite of the day. Outside, the crowds roared as the newlyweds appeared on the palace balcony. Spanish voices mingled with Danish cheers, and the couple, against centuries of rigid royal custom, shared not one, but two kisses. The second one came after Leonor whispered something that made Christian laugh, a moment so human, so spontaneous, it sent social media into meltdown. By the time the footage hit royal news outlets, hashtags and clips had already spread like wildfire across the world. Spain called it El beso que hizo historia, the kiss that made history. Denmark simply called it Love Crowned. But the emotional weight didn't end there. Later that evening, at the royal banquet, King Felipe delivered a speech that brought the entire hall to its feet. His voice was filled with emotion, yet his words were sharp, deliberate, and touching. He said, "Today, Spain doesn't lose a daughter, it gains a son, and Europe gains hope." It was the kind of moment that silenced even the critics who had doubted the young couple's relationship. Queen Margrethe of Denmark, too, shared an emotional moment during the dinner. Cameras caught her wiping tears discreetly as she raised her glass to toast the young couple. She said softly, "May this love be the bridge between North and South, and may it last beyond crowns." The unseen footage from the reception later revealed the side of royal life the public rarely sees: laughter, dancing, and friendship across borders. Princess Leonor was seen dancing barefoot with her younger sister, Infanta Sofia, during one of the traditional Spanish songs. Prince Christian joined in, laughing as he tried to match the rhythm. That clip alone became a viral sensation, showing that beyond titles and formality, there was something pure and relatable about these two young royals. The next morning, headlines across Europe all carried variations of the same message. Royal history remade. From Madrid to Copenhagen, from London to Washington, millions woke up still replaying the footage of the wedding. Analysts called it a soft power triumph for both royal families. Historians called it a generational shift, a new kind of monarchy, rooted not in tradition alone, but in authenticity and connection. Royal watchers pointed out the delicate symbolism embedded throughout the day. The floral arrangements combined Spain's national flower, the red carnation, with Denmark's white daisy, symbolizing love and unity. The menu featured dishes from both cultures: Spanish olive oil and Danish butter served side by side. Even the table linens bore a joint crest designed exclusively for the couple, a merging of two royal lineages. Every detail, every choice, told a story of two families, and two nations, coming together not out of protocol, but genuine love. But perhaps the most powerful moment came quietly, long after the cameras had gone. As the guests departed and the music faded, the couple slipped away to the palace's private garden. A short clip, leaked later by a royal photographer, showed them under the twinkling lights, hands intertwined, laughing softly. No titles. No duties. Just Leonor and Christian, two young people who fell in love under the heaviest crowns in Europe. That image captured what the whole world had been feeling all day. That even within the grandeur of royalty, there is still something simple, raw, and beautifully human. The wedding of Princess Leonor and Prince Christian wasn't just another royal event, it was a cultural heartbeat, a moment that reminded the world why we still care about royal stories in the first place. It wasn't about power. It wasn't about lineage. It was about love, vulnerability, and courage, the courage to stand before the world and say, "This is who we are." And that's why royal fans across the world are still in awe, not just of the gowns, the carriages, or the crowns, but of the very human story at the heart of it all. As the footage continues to trend across every platform, one truth stands clear. This wasn't just the wedding of a princess and a prince, it was the wedding of a new era. Spain and Denmark have written a new chapter in royal history, one filled with hope, unity, and emotion, a love story that generations will remember and cherish. And as fans continue replaying those never-before-seen moments, the whispers, the tears, the laughter, the world collectively agrees. Princess Leonor's wedding wasn't just seen.